punch me badly, then he push me again.
Decades after making their homes in Wolverhampton, Satnam and Jasveer were subject to a vicious attack.
Do you think this is because of the quite poisonous atmosphere over illegal migration?
That's what's in my mind.
This diverse city is now engaged in an awkward and bitter debate about who to welcome.
They should have actually sent them back before they even thought about putting them up in hotels and look after their own people.
With echoes of the city's most infamous speech.
In 15 or 20 years' time, the black man will have the whip hand over the white man.
In this era of migration, illegal and legal, it feels that taboos have been broken, that the unsayable is suddenly sayable again.
Britain is a country of many flags and of many identities. We're in the West Midlands, among the Sikh community. With those who've made their lives here and who fear a return to troubling times.
He came to me, said, "You're no race, all race," and give me a punch on the face. I broke my 2 ribs.
It was broad daylight, the attack unprovoked, shocking for those who watched it.
What are you doing? That was all recorded, you
Terrifying for the 2 victims, Jasveer Sangha and his fellow taxi driver and old friend Satnam Singh.
Punch me badly, then he push me again. I fell down on the floor. When I see, oh bloody hell, my turban is not on my head. I'm feeling very, very sad, very, very sad. Does mean I am dead.
Does it feel at all as if we might be going back to those bad old days?
Anything could happen. There was bad time as well, so there was a lot of racist going on. There was a lot of people gathering in the town centres, trying to attack foreign peoples. I seen that with my own eyes.
Do you think this is because of the quite poisonous atmosphere and the anger over the issue of illegal migration?
That's what's in my mind.
Jasveer arrived in Britain in 1967 and moved to Wolverhampton, a city that holds a special place in this country's multicultural history, for what its most famous Member of Parliament said just a few months later in a speech designed to inflame.
In this country, in 15 or 20 years' time, the black man will have the whip hand over the white man.
Powell's rivers of blood never flowed, but some still find in his words echoes today. In this era of migration, legal and illegal, it feels like taboos have been broken, that the unsayable is sayable. But fear is still fear, and hate is still hate.
Police are investigating allegations of 2 rapes committed a few weeks and a few miles apart on 2 Sikh women, both said to be racially aggravated.
I mean, the words they've used is similar to go back to your own country, but there's that fear factor now that this can happen to anyone. If it's happened to a young Sikh woman who was just going about her day, a normal day, going to work, then, you know, we do have something to fear.
Do people feel under threat?
I think there's a constant air of threat around, particularly with what we're seeing around with the rise of the far right rhetoric in the mainstream media from our politicians, and visibly on the streets with the flags and the outward display of what I'd call misled patriotism.
Wolverhampton is a symbol of our diversity, culturally and economically. but our polling reflects unease about fresh waves of immigration. In a divided nation, 59% believe the main cause of tension is between people born in the UK and immigrants. Almost half see immigration as having a negative impact on the country, including on the NHS. 2/3 of people think immigration is too high, and the concerns are shared across all ethnic groups, with 3/4 saying they're particularly concerned about the rise in illegal small boat crossings.
They should have actually sent them back before they even thought about putting them up in hotels and look after their own people.
But Wolverhampton is this big multicultural town that's...
It is. Don't get me wrong, it is. But you've also got to bear in mind, people have got visas to come over to study, work and beyond. These haven't.
What's changed now to make people so fed up?
I worked at Cutchie's for 30 years and whatever, and it was multicultural. There's lots of people. I drink it around the town and there's lots of multicultural. But like, people are scared.
Whether the threat is real or exaggerated hardly seems to matter.
As far as I've been alive, all I've known is Wolverhampton to be very diverse, perfectly fine, everyone's been happy. But then you got the illegals coming in with nothing, and yet we've got Parliament, the government giving it to them.
Do you know how many illegal immigrants there are in Wolverhampton?
I don't know.
It's quite small compared to the population of Wolverhampton.
Yeah, definitely.
So why has this become a big problem, do you think? If you're talking about a small number of people, why has it become such a big problem?
I'm talking about a small number of people, but at the same time, I'm talking about the whole of the UK.
Oh, this particular market is where my mum dragged us every Saturday, and it's given me...
The writer, Satnam Sangera, grew up here in the bad old days.
Football supporters then were just renowned for being racist, so we just didn't leave the house as kids if the Wolves were playing. And now it's one of the most diversely supported teams in Britain.
But it is also a city of increasing complexity.
The migrants of my parents' generation, massive Brexit voters, and are not that keen on the new generation of migration. So it's complicated. It's not just that, oh, it's diverse, so everyone's keen on immigration. It's not that simple.
So, what's on the menu? What have we got?
Wolverhampton has for decades, he argues, proved its former MP wrong.
You know what I fancy? I fancy a chicken tikka kebab wrap. That is Indian, English and Turkish.
The question is whether the country can do the same again.
Are you an optimist or a pessimist about this?
I think there's different things happening. If you look at our party politics, yeah, that tells a very toxic story. If you look at social media, it seems like we're on the brink of civil war. But if you look at the people, I think what you've got in Britain is the most successful multicultural society in the world.
There are uncomfortable conversations to be had, but worries over whether Britain can meet the challenge of immigration is one thing that unites us all. John Ray, ITV News, Wolverhampton.